Today, we're talking about pitching a television show at a major television production company. Hi, Jerry Corley, founder of the Stand-Up Comedy Clinic, standupcomedyclinic.com. Welcome to another episode of Ask the Joke Doctor. I'm in a jacket and shirt. Normally, you're not used to seeing me in this type of getup. Normally, you'll see me in just a t-shirt because that's what I'm comfortable in. But I just got done with a pitch. I was pitching for Mark Burnett with a student of mine. Mark Burnett, he's the producer of hits like Shart Tank, Survivor, The Voice. I mean, the guy is genius when it comes to unscripted. So we had an opportunity to pitch for him today, and I want to share the experience with you so you have an idea of maybe you'll learn something from it, because it is quite a different experience to pitch in a producer's room or in a big production office, as it were. Let me backtrack a little bit. See, one of my students created this idea for a show, an unscripted show, and she ran it by me, and I gave her some tips, and she said, Jerry, would you come and pitch this with me? So I said yes, because everywhere you look, there's an opportunity, right? So first of all, she pitched the idea to me. I love the idea. The concept is right down my alley. I'm totally hip. I'm not going to tell you what the concept is, but it has something to do with journalism and reality. But great concept. So it also birthed some other ideas as we were talking it out. Now, so we went in for the pitch. She was very nervous about the pitch. And it's one of, I don't know how many pitches she's done, but she was very nervous about it. And I tried to explain to her, there's really no reason to be nervous about a pitch. One of the reasons we get nervous is because we place them way up here and us way down here. You know, the producers are way up here and way down there. And when you're nervous, they can smell fear. Now, they say that, you know the old saying that horses can smell fear? Well, they should change that to horses and television producers, because they can smell fear too. And what they're looking for really is confidence. Now, one of the ways to develop confidence when pitching is to readjust your paradigm about what you're doing. What you're doing is not asking them for a job. Here we go. What you're doing is offering them a mutually beneficial business arrangement. Does that make sense? Now, once you sort of tell yourself this or convince yourself this, the paradigm shifts, and you don't feel so much pressure to impress. All you have to do now is get there and share with them this idea that you've already worked through. They haven't heard the idea yet, and you have to share it with them so that they can imagine it on the screen. And that's another thing. Once you're done getting through that whole idea that you're sort of begging them for a job, which you're not, you don't have to be nervous anymore. You're just telling them an idea. You know, they're just a stranger. You meet them for the very first time. You're sitting in usually a conference room or something like that. Or when I pitched at FX, we pitched Stretch originally. By the way, Stretch, if you haven't seen it as a movie, go check it out now. It's on Netflix now. It has Chris Pine, Ray Liotta, Jessica Alba, a hit Hollywood cast. My first screenplay, and we actually got it made into a major motion picture, which is the coolest thing ever. But I'm not here to brag about that. I always pitch that. It's one of my proudest accomplishments. So if you hear me pimp that and you get tired of it, just let me know. But go check it out on Netflix, and I'd love to hear what you thought about the film. But when you're in a pitch room, first of all, the rooms are usually conference rooms. Sometimes, as we pitched FX, it was like a little tiny pitch room with a couch, a couple of chairs, the president, vice president, and a couple of other vice presidents and vice president of development, that sort of thing, stood at the front of the room. We had a screen where we showed a sizzle reel, and then we pitched the idea to them. Now, that was a unique pitch room, but most pitch rooms in my experience, are more like conference rooms. So you sit down in the conference room. Here's just a piece of advice. What I like to do, you're usually escorted there first, right? You get there early, you get there first, you're in the conference room alone. So, and usually an assistant will ask you, is there any media you would like to present? And they'll put in a DVD player, or they'll give you a cast to their screen so you can cast your video up on the screen. So for everybody to look at and get visual presentations or visual medium. So, but here's one of the tips I want you to know. Make sure that you, like if there's a window, if there's a, like in this particular, in almost every pitch room I've been in, like the one entire wall is all windows, right? So you're overlooking the city. So what I like to do is put myself on the side that doesn't have the window behind me. This particular conference room had a window and there was no blinds. So all the light was blaring in. If you've ever shot a camera towards somebody who is against a window, you're usually getting a silhouette, right? So you don't want them sort of straining their eyes to see you. So plant yourself away from the window so that the light is shining on you. That's just a little tip. That's what I like to do. You can do it any way you want, but that's what I like to do. Secondly, when you're doing your pitch, make sure you are concise. These guys are on appointment schedules. Their appointment schedules are tight and they move fast. A lot of times they give signals to their assistant to time them and either call them or something in the middle of a pitch so that they can end the pitch and then take the idea and move on. Because people, when they pitch, they tend to run on. So make sure your pitches are very concise. You want to leave them with more, leave them wanting more. The other thing we did was, we didn't do this, my student did this. This show we were pitching was about journalism. And so what she did, which was very cool, was she made a takeaway. She had some takeaways. And that's what I usually, or leave-behinds as they call it. The leave-behind is usually sort of a synopsis that briefly explains the show. So that they have, when he goes, this guy now we pitch to can take it on up the ladder and pitch it to other people, pitch it to the vice president, the president, that sort of thing. So you want to leave like a synopsis behind. I know some books, some people say don't leave it behind, whatever. It's better for you if you can leave something behind that they can now refer to as they share it up the ladder and then maybe invite you in for a secondary pitch. The second thing we left behind is something unique. She made these really cool press passes, which were basically the pitch. On the cover, she had the name of the show, and it said press pass. And on the back, she had sort of a synopsis of the show on the back of the press pass. And it was with a lanyard and the lamination, the whole thing. They thought it was the coolest thing ever. So this is what happened in the pitch. The pitch ran a little long because my student was sort of not as concise as she needed to be. So fortunately, I was able to rein it in a little bit and tighten it up and, sort of clarify certain points. And again, being very conscious not to step on her, step on what she's doing. One of the things you have to be very conscious when you're in a team is like you're not talking over your partner, that you're listening to your partner and saying, if I might clarify, if you've listened to guys in Congress and how they talk to one another, sort of the same thing. You don't want to cross-talk. You just want to sort of, if I might clarify that point, I know she said this, and it was, what if I clarify it and say it this way? And then they're usually thankful that you get the message across in a more concise way. So make sure your pitches are tight. Make sure you have energy, you're passionate about the project. Make sure you know that project inside and out. So if we go back and review, the first thing you want to do in a pitch is design your elevator pitch, which is basically a very short paragraph, like 3 sentences of what the show is. Because ask yourself in your mind, if they ask you the question, what is it? In a nutshell, you got to be able to say what it is, without going into background and other things. Just say what it is right at the top. It's about this. And then you can elaborate a little. Then what you want to do is you want to go step by step, almost as if you're watching the show. Like if you watch Amazing Race or you watch The Voice, I want you to sit there and write down exactly how long that first segment is before they go to commercial, how long the commercials are, how long the second segment is before they go to commercial, how long the commercials are, how long the third segment is before they go to commercial, how long the commercials are, how long the fourth segment is before they go to commercial, and by then we'll probably roll into the end of the show. When you think about that, it's usually 4 acts, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, and an hour-long reality concept. You know, some shift a little. Some, when they go into syndication, slide more commercial time in there because they want to make that revenue. But really pay attention to what are they covering in each segment and what are what they call the tent poles. These are things that happen every episode, every time. This happens, this happens, this happens, and this happens. Like an Amazing Race, it's where they go get the sort of quiz, right? The hints as to what they're supposed to do next. Those are the tent poles. That happens every episode, and then at the end they all meet the guy at the end, and they've met their target. But it's a matter of really making your show very palatable, very consumable, and modular. So it's easy to identify. It's easy for the producer you're pitching to visualize as this show as it progresses. They want to be able to, you have to pitch it so they can see it on TV as it's happening. I hope that makes sense. So when you go to pitch, number one, don't be nervous. You're offering a mutually beneficial business arrangement. You have a great idea, and they would be really better off if they were able to take your idea, put it on television, because they'll make money, you'll make money, it will be a win-win. But you have to utterly believe in your idea. Now, what happened in this pitch is I don't think they're going to take this particular show, because they said to us, to be honest with you, we've been working on an idea concept in this sort of niche. So they're working on some sort of journalism thing. So odds are they're not going to take the show because they've already got something in that arena. Either they do or they don't. Say, for example, they're like, they do or they don't, and they thought our idea was fantastic, and they're like, we don't need you. Odds are that's not the story. Once in a great while that's happened. That happened to me once before with the television show, but odds are you don't even worry about that. Go out and pitch your ideas, and when you're dealing with a quality company like the Burnett Productions, odds are you're going to have a really cool team that wants to collaborate, that always looks at new ideas, because they put out some stuff, man. They put out some shit, and you want to. They're always looking at new ideas. So if they get a reputation of stealing ideas, of course, it's going to go down the drain, right? So get in there, pitch your ideas, be concise. Don't worry about being nervous, because it is a mutually beneficial business arrangement. Now, I know I sort of ranted, but very excited about this opportunity we had today to pitch. And the beauty of pitching I've never pitched to the Burnett Company. So now I've made a new relationship, and I can now pitch some other concepts in the future that I've been working on with that team over there. So just remember, don't be nervous. It's a mutually beneficial business arrangement. They're not up here, and you're not down here. They started somewhere down here, so they get it. They're on your side. It's just like a comic stepping up on stage. You know, the audience is not folding their arms going, make me laugh, asshole. They're curious. You know, a lot of people think that the audience is doing that, but they're not, because you've been in those very seats waiting for this comedian to come up on stage, and when they do, you're like, all right, what is your state of mind? It's more curious, isn't it? It's not, hey, asshole, make me laugh. It's very curious. So just a little tip for you. I hope this adds value to your day, and if you ever get an opportunity to pitch a show, I hope these tips help you out. And they should help you out, not just show pitching, but pitching yourself for a club gig or pitching yourself for a corporate gig. It's a mutually beneficial business arrangement. If they don't take you, somebody else will, and good luck to them, and good luck to you. So I hope, once again, you enjoyed this, If you did, go ahead and share it. And if you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter. I'm at Joke Doctor. That's my handle, at Joke Doctor. And leave the hashtag #AskTheJokeDoctor, and I'll be happy to address your video, address your question on a video just like this one, and hopefully it'll help you to get better and better and better. Been getting great feedback on these videos, so I really hope you're enjoying them, and I'm glad a lot of you are enjoying them. So go ahead and share and let others know that this is available on the YouTube channel. Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.